Hi, everybody. Okay, Mike's coming up. Hey, we made it.
Hello
We
there.
made it. Hold on, I don't have my volume up. I'm supposed to learn this. Okay, now I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Look, he's up there. I put him.
Awesome.
Tim put these shelves up here for me. So those are our giveaway stuff. So we have a little area for him now, and yeah.
Love it. I'm
How
trying
are you
something
doing?
trying something different tonight. I got my phone set up on the table leaning on something so I don't have to do this
Okay.
game.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you're higher than me.
Yeah. Well, I am taller.
Yeah, yes, you are. You are.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Lori,
everybody.
Lori gave me grief the other day about the fact that I was like this with my face smashed for the live.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess she didn't see you in the basement at Tyler's either,
No,
like that.
get her hands full.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me put this on Discord. You want to? What are our topics tonight? What order do you want to go in?
Let's see here. I'm going off of memory. Somebody suggested talking about the crowd calendars.
Okay.
Somebody suggested talking about the Good Neighbor hotels, and it was suggested to talk about the D23 announcements. And I don't remember if there was anything else or not.
All right. 1 second. I'm gonna walk away for 1 second. Okay.
Okay. Welcome in those that are joining. Janelle stepped away for a second. She'll be right back. Welcome to Travel Talk. I'm Mike, and Janelle will be right back. And we've got a few topics that we'll cover, but we are always open to questions or comments that you want us to discuss on here. Welcome in. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a great Wednesday and that your week is going well.
Okay. I'm back. Okay, we're back. Ainsley, she's going to a horse show and she's leaving at 12:45 in the morning. So she was trying to tell me that she was going to bed, and I forgot to call her back. So anyway, it's taken care of.
So no horsing around for her tonight, huh?
No horsing around. No horsing around at all. Okay, we went over our topics. Which order do you want to go in?
Makes no difference to me. I don't know if any of the people who suggested those topics are on yet.
Okay. I'm still trying to share in Discord.
But when you stepped away, as I share with everybody, that we have a few topics to cover, but we're open to questions and comments that they would like to discuss.
We are open to that.
Janelle and I do this weekly, usually on Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern, but we moved it up a night because we just couldn't wait to talk to one another.
No, we look at each other. We might start doing this every night.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Probably. And
Okay.
we'd probably still talk for 2 hours.
Probably. Probably. I feel like Disney has enough stuff that would allow us to do that. So, okay. One more share.
Okay.
And we'll be good. Okay.
I know that Wolf was the one who wanted to talk about D23.
Just joined.
And Shane was the one who asked about Good Neighbor hotels. And I'm going off of memory, which is pretty weak these days. I don't remember who asked to talk about the crowd calendars.
That's right, the cloud calendars. I feel like it was, I know you're not on the lives a lot during the day, but that's just always my suggestion is to look at the crowd calendars.
So I'm going to start with a topic that I didn't mention.
Okay.
I know you and I. Hey, not Unicourse. Oh, should we whisper if you're putting Soph to bed? Um, I know this isn't a topic that we had for tonight, and I'm fairly certain this is something I've talked about on previous lives, but I just came across somebody's, I think it was a Facebook post that rang so true. Janelle, I'm a huge, huge proponent of the Skyliner,
Yep.
right? The transportation that will take you to Epcot, Hollywood Studios from either Art of Animation or Pop Century or Caribbean Beach Resort or the Riviera. Huge proponent. It's a great way to get to those parks without waiting in line for a bus. It's a great view, what have you. But I've mentioned this before. If you have fear of heights, don't take a trip and stay at one of those resorts until you see the Skyliners
Right.
and understand whether you think you could ride them or not. And I've said this before, and hey, Ronnie, somebody just posted on Facebook yesterday, I think it was, that they were staying at Caribbean Beach Resort, and their first day they went to Hollywood Studios on the Skyliner, and this person said it was horrific and I can never ever do it again in my life. And they wanted to know, how can I get to Epcot from Caribbean Beach Resort?
Okay.
And it was just like, oh my God, that's exactly why I tell people, if you have a fear of heights, don't book one of those resorts, because your ability to get to Hollywood Studios or Epcot is going to be incredibly painful, either riding the Skyliner if you're afraid of heights, or Mike cannot see the comments again. Sure I can, Shane, I see your comment. I put the phone down lower so I don't have to do this. Yeah, so Ronnie's, terrified of heights. So if you stay at one of those resorts, Art of Animation, Pop, Century, Caribbean Beach Resort, Riviera, your only direct mode of transportation to Hollywood Studios and to Epcot is the Skyliner. Unless the Skyliner is shut down for maintenance or because of weather, then there's bus service. There is no bus service during good conditions from those resorts. So this person that posted on Facebook, I think they ended up taking a bus from the Caribbean Beach Resort to the Magic Kingdom, and then went somewhere from the Magic Kingdom to another resort to take a bus to Epcot. And it's just like, my God, they probably spent an hour at least in transport that could have been resolved had they known better. Hey, Scuba.
But and that also goes with, I've said it before, the monorail too. If you're going between Magic Kingdom and Epcot and those resorts, uh, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, or Contemporary, you have no other way but the monorail, unless there are bad conditions or the monorail is closed down for some reason. Only transportation.
Tina, your question, do they have buses from the Skyliner resorts to Magic Kingdom and DAC? Yes. You still take buses from, we'll just say Pop Century, so I don't have to keep repeating all four of them, but you still take a bus from Pop Century to Animal Kingdom and to Magic Kingdom. It's just Hollywood Studios and Epcot that you have you have the Skyliner, and you only have the Skyliner unless there's weather or the Skyliner shut down.
I have sub chats on. I'm sorry, everybody. Let's see. Okay, there. Everybody can talk now. Thank you, Unicorns.
So anyway, so that crossed my mind when I saw that post. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know we've talked about it, and we need to continue to talk about it, because that's a big deal. If you or your traveling partner or your children have a fear of heights, you're going to make for difficult travel to Epcot and or Hollywood Studios from those resorts.
I know, and I will say it again, kind of like the monorail, right? Or the boat or anything. is, I read a post the other day. Somebody got, the Skyliner was stopped and they were stuck up there for an hour plus, but that can happen to you on the monorail. That can happen to you on a boat. And it's unfortunate, but those things happen as well,
When we were there in May, I was by myself. Where the heck was I going? I was on one of the Disney buses, I think from Magic Kingdom back to Art of Animation, and the bus took a wrong turn. He
That's right.
he turned into some parking lot and had to, whip a Yui to get back out onto the road to get us to the resort. So that held Skyliner is so fun. Yeah, Tasha, I love the Skyliner. That's my absolute favorite way to get to the parks. Hey Brooke, I would love it if they would extend the Skyliner to Epcot or to Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. That's a heck of a long stretch, though.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that they would have to figure out how to maneuver it without running into the monorail at Magic Kingdom.
Sure.
So, Tina, I would tell you, like I said, stay at a non-Skyliner resort if you're terrified of heights. And then the shortest Skyliner route you can take would be from Hollywood Studios to Caribbean Beach Resort. So if you're afraid of heights and you may struggle, that's at least the shortest route to take for you to test it out. And then if you can handle it, then take it over to Epcot. That's a longer ride. And if you're good with that, then your next trip you can book a Skyliner resort if you'd like.
Right.
It is convenient, Brooke. It really is. Yep, Shane loved the show. Yeah, the people mover of the skies. That's right. But again, if you're afraid of heights, and that was the Facebook post that somebody had yesterday, after their first day, they had to take a bus from Caribbean Beach Resort to Magic Kingdom, and then take a bus from Magic Kingdom to a non-Skyliner resort, and then take a bus from that resort to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
And it's just a great way to avoid that problem altogether.
Right. It does, Robbie.
You're right. That's right, Robbie. It does, and then buses do run. But as long as the weather's cooperating, Skyliner is your only option from those resorts.
Yeah. I mean, the night that Megan and I were stuck at Magic Kingdom because of the weather, the monorails were not running when we left. So it happens to me, the only transportation that I know that is, fail safe is the boats. Like that
blows me away. You said that the other night.
Yeah.
The metal boats are still running.
Yeah.
Boats on water that are metal with lightning. That kills me. I would think the bus would be the only surefire transportation that would happen no matter what.
And as a matter of fact, we asked about a bus going over to TTC. As we know, sometimes bus 34, is over there. And they shut that down because there were too many people. The line was so backed up. It was such a long wait. They cut people off from even going over to the buses.
Now, one thing I always wonder when you have that deluge of rain, if you think leaving Magic Kingdom on the bus and you leave the park, you turn right and you go down underneath the waterway there, if that floods at all.
I've never seen it flood, but
you would think they'd have pretty good drainage, but if it's raining 2-3 inches an hour during a heavy thunderstorm, that's got to back up. I have to believe it would.
No, I agree.
Yep. So that was the one thing that crossed my mind from last time when I saw that on Facebook. It's like, yeah, I'm going to keep beating that drum that yes, I love Skyliner and yes, I'm a proponent, but if you're afraid of heights, stay at a non-Skyliner resort first. And then like Tina, you said, try it out and go from Hollywood Studios to Caribbean Beach is the shortest Skyliner path that you can take of convenience. I mean, I think from Caribbean Beach over to Pop Century is pretty short, but you got to get there. So if you're already at Hollywood, then it's pretty easy to do. Okay. So let's see here. Again, things that got sent in on Discord, or I think I got messaged. to talk about the crowd calendars, talk about Good Neighbor Hotels, talk about the D23 stuff. And I was asked about the bounce back promotion and what that was. So we can talk about that.
Good point, Kristen. Very good point.
Yeah, that's right.
Uber.
That is an option. But again, if you have little kids with car seats, that's problematic too. So, I get, for whatever reason, I guess I always think about having little kids along when I'm going.
No, and that's sure. I would think that's the majority of people there, have kids along. So.
The smart adults in us go without the kids, but apparently I'm not that smart. Okay, so I know Tina's on. I think she was the one who suggested we talk about D23.
Yep,
So
and Shane's here too. So.
And Shane asked about Good Neighbor. I don't remember who asked about the crowd, but we can do that last. So.
Okay.
You want to do D23?
Yeah, let's do D23.
Okay. So I scribbled down notes of everything that I saw.
Okay.
I don't know if you got your notes or you just have it all memorized.
Oh yeah, all memorized. And no, I would go back to my Discord and all of my live stuff that I did.
See, I was going to give you credit of just having it all memorized, and you could have
Yeah.
ran with
It's all memorized.
Look, everybody that's on this live knows exactly who the brains of this thing is, and it's not me. So, off the top of my head, then, and what I scribbled down, I feel like going in order of the things that are happening makes the most sense. So, Figment meet and greet started up on Sunday, correct? And I think you went Sunday and saw the 2 to 3 hour wait for Figment, and you gave up on Sunday, right?
Well, it was not our intent. We would have done it if it wasn't a long line, but we just went there to kind of just check it out, like not really do it. But we did eventually meet him on Monday when the crowd was not 4 to 5 hours.
So showing me that card, here's, how warped my brain is, Janelle. You always see the people who, my parents went to Hawaii and all they got me was this lousy shirt. It's like we went to go see Figment and waited 3 hours and we got this postcard.
This postcard. Yes.
That's pretty cool. I saw your video. I was pretty impressed with the setup. They did.
Oh yeah.
They did a lot of work in there to really make that meet and greet area, Figment like.
Right.
I was pretty impressed with that because they turned that around pretty quick, right?
Yes, they did. They did. So, yep. So Figment's there. Figment has fallen. Poor Figgy. I mean, he's not meant for coming through the tunnel. But it was funny last night when Megan and I had left Magic Kingdom. We had gone to Gasparilla Grill to get water and just kind of take a break and get some air condition. And we were talking to a cast member there, and we were talking, just said something about Figment, and she knows Figment. And I was like, how's Figment's pride? Lots of falling happened. And she said Figment's doing just fine. Just fine. So Figment's okay, and they're going to do a lot more practicing. Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, that was the first announcement that came out on Saturday with D23.
That was the last. That was the last one.
I should have said that of the announcements from Saturday's D23, that's the first thing that's happened.
Yes. So the very first announcement was Hatbox.
Yeah.
That was our very first announcement.
Yes. And so now you're going to make me go out of order here. So Hatbox was the first announcement, but it's not the first thing to come to fruition.
No.
Figment was the first to come to fruition. Hatbox will be the fourth thing to come to fruition.
Okay.
And I got you thinking now, don't I?
Yep, you do.
So, Hatbox is coming to the Haunted Mansion in late November.
Yep.
Just in time for Halloween, of course.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
nothing says Happy Thanksgiving more than Hatbox, right?
Yes. Yes.
Shane, yes, I think the answer is
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So
And thank you, Shane, for keeping it real for Vampirina.
okay, so Figment was the first thing to happen. Hatbox is the fourth thing to happen.
Yep.
So the second and third go hand in hand. Does that give you a clue as to what they are? So on
Moana.
October 16th,
Moana.
Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, opens up at Epcot, and the Moana meet and greet happens at Epcot. Did they say whether Moana is going to continue to be a meet and greet at Animal Kingdom?
No. And I've been asked that, and I guess I could have asked a cast member, but I haven't, and I don't know. They haven't said they're taking her away from there, so
I would hope, because just like Figment, I'm sure even though you can see her at Animal Kingdom, I'm sure when she comes to Epcot, it's going to be crazy, super crazy busy. So I would hope that they would keep her at Animal Kingdom at least for a time period until things settle down. So yeah, so the walkthrough water feature at Epcot opens up on October 16th, and the meet and greet with Moana also starts at Epcot on October 16th. So that was 2, 3, and then 4 was Hatbox.
okay.
There's one last thing of that list for this year.
Okay.
You want to announce it?
I know what it is. I mean, I'm looking at my list.
Well, I can either give you the park or give you the date.
Okay, give me a date.
December 5th.
Oh, Luminous. I'm so excited. So excited for Epcot and this fireworks show. Cannot wait.
I don't know if you remember the comment I made in your Discord that is Luminous an ode to Illuminations and Harmonious. I mean, it's almost kind of merging those two
Yes.
together.
Yes. Yes. I
So,
know. Everybody, get rid of Epcot forever. 100%.
yes, again, it was about for 10 minutes. And honestly, I think if that Epcot Forever was a 15 to 18-minute fireworks show, I think people would have been okay with it. But it was just so short.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to those, Robbie, here in a minute. We're hitting the things that we know of first. So, yes, on December 5th, oddly enough, is a Tuesday night. I don't know how they pick some of these dates to launch these things, but a Tuesday night at Epcot, the Luminous, the Symphony of Us is
That's
the
what
name.
it looks like. Oh, my ring.
Yep.
I love the heart.
Yes. Absolutely.
December 5th is Walt's birthday.
Oh, well, okay.
So there you go. But that's just like I was going to schedule September 22nd because that's the start of the 100th in Epcot. And that's a Friday. And I'm like, we're starting this shindig on a Friday? Okay.
So, based on Tina's comment, we now know who the brains of this operation actually is.
We do. Thank you, Tina.
Okay, so those were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 announcements that have actual dates here in 2023. Everything else is future dated into 2024.
Okay. So then how did you list them? By popularity?
And ran out of ink. Oh, there you go. Actually, well, I listed them exactly in the order of your Discord, but
Okay.
I figured we'd go in order of them happening.
Okay.
So back to your Discord then, if you eliminate the ones we just talked about, the next one on your list was
Country Bears.
go ahead.
Country Bears. I mean, we're going to get a new song, right? It's song. I don't think it's songs.
I thought it was songs.
Okay, new songs. Okay.
It almost made it sound like the Bears might perform some existing songs.
Oh,
And it's like, well, are they going to be like singing Frozen, musical songs? I mean, that would seem weird. And I know it's kind of outlandish, but um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do with that. But it sounds like all the bears will still be there. The animatronics will be just the way they are, but they'll introduce at least one new song, if not multiple new songs.
we'll just hope for one, right? And if we get more, because it's already like is it a 15-minute show? I think it's about 15 minutes. It's not too long.
Far longer than Epcot Forever.
It is longer than Epcot Forever.
And on those hot days, it's not long enough because the AC is incredible.
Right.
So that's just a sometime in 2024. I don't think they even gave a summer or spring or anything like that.
No.
So just 2024. Okay. What's next on your list? Oh, were you hoping I would just announce them?
No,
I can do that.
I took my list away.
I can announce them. I've got them right here, and then you.
No, it's so. Next would be is next Zootopia, or no? There's something else, but I just want to go back real quick and say I don't think it was like an announcement, but I know he made a point to say Disney World and Disneyland would open in 2024, the Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised about Disneyland simply because that project started 5 months later.
that's why I'm making it a point to say he'd said both of them.
But for Disney World, all along they had said late 2024.
Okay.
So for me, late 2024, my brain just says fourth quarter. Whether it's October, November, December, who knows? I mean, the fact that Hatbox, they couldn't get that thing running before Halloween, it'll be certainly by. All right, see you, Unicourse. Hopefully you can join later. Kayla, I don't think we're going to get Tiana's earlier than late 2024. I'd be surprised by it. I mean, you think back to previous projects that Disney has done, and I don't think they've ever really opened anything early. I mean, a week early, something like that. But I can't imagine it's going to be any earlier than the beginning of October. So anyway,
the next one is the Tavern.
There you go.
The Tavern,
Yep.
Which is super exciting. I don't know where. Like, where do we think?
So it's first off, it's a Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern that's going to be opening in 2024 in Adventureland. I don't know.
It's a tavern. It makes it seem like it's going to have alcohol.
I don't know how you have a tavern that doesn't have alcohol.
Right.
Where is it going to go? I mean, where Captain Jack is right now, across from the entrance, there's like a little wood stage area there. What sits behind that? I mean, is there room if they were to build it there and build it back into that stage?
That's where cast members go. Like, cast members go behind there. It's like an entrance behind.
So, Robbie, I think the closest restaurant is if you're walking out of Pirates of the Caribbean, you take a left. Pecos Bill's right there, right?
Well, and Tortuga is straight across.
Okay.
Quick service. I mean, straight outside is Tortuga.
So, Tina, do you think it'll be quick serve or I don't know what?
I think it's going to be like a Oga's.
That's what I was thinking is like Oga's. A couple of appetizers, alcohol drinks, no reservations, limited seating.
Yeah.
I've never been in Tortuga. I don't even know what they have in there.
Outside, and what I love about it, maybe I'll show it on Monday, but there's like a little room back behind it that the doors are normally open, but it has really good air conditioning and a bathroom back there. Again, if you walk straight out of Pirates and walk across the way And the outside seating for the Tortuga quick service, you can walk into Pecos on the back side of it, and it's all open.
Okay.
And then you go down the ramp into Pecos Bills, and you get to that area from Tortuga.
Well, maybe that's what's going to happen. And it's interesting that we get that announcement, and there'd been, massive speculation about them possibly re-theming Pecos Bills to Tiana, and we didn't get that.
Okay, Robbie, I got you on that one. I am a bathroom snob, but my husband will tell me that I just can't believe what happens in men's bathrooms. So I don't know how to help y'all.
So for me, Robbie, the best bathroom is when you got to go, it's the closest one to you, right? That's the best one. But what are you hoping for the tavern? Wow. I've never been in Oga's, but I've seen plenty of people who they like it. However, they don't like the fact that you can't make reservations. There's limited seating. It's packed in there. So I hope it's I hope the offering is better.
Yeah, I agree. But it's going to be fun. If it's something along the lines of Trader Sam's, Pirate, like that feeling, that's going to be so much fun. And that's what I would hope for.
Yes, Tina, learn from past mistakes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Although Oga's is always packed, so
always
still do it's like people who complain about the ticket prices at Disney. Well, as long as the parks are still full, they're not going to change the pricing. As long as Oga's is packed, they're not going to change the process.
No.
Yes, they're going to have sarsaparillas, Robbie. That's right. Sarsaparilla floats for me and you, buddy.
Okay. I'm off of Discord. I don't know what the next one is.
All right. The next one is the reimagination of
Test Track.
Boom. This is fun. We'll play fill in the blank.
Yeah. I got this.
So this sounds like they're going to go back to the kind of original roots of Test Track. The impression I got. More, I mean, I remember back in the day it was like Chevrolet was the sponsor, and it was more about the design of the vehicle and this, that, and the other. But it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. There was no timetable on it whatsoever, and my gut tells me that whenever they pull the plug and close it, it's going to be a lengthy closure. I would imagine at least 3 months.
I agree.
Tina, I like that idea. Scurvy lemon curds.
That's funny.
They could, just about anything they serve could be better than pickle shakes.
Where's my cup?
All right, so Test Track, yes. So again, no dates announced whatsoever. Just I don't even know if they said in 2024.
No.
So it could be a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But again, I think once they pull a plug and do that, it's going to be a lengthy closure.
Yes, I agree.
Something else that there was no announcements on that I'm just thinking about, and maybe they wouldn't announce at these kind of events, but any changes to individual lightning lanes, virtual queues, that sort of thing. There was nothing about removing virtual queues from Guardians, for instance.
No. And again, I have heard from a cast member, January 2024 is when the virtual queue for Guardians, at least, is what I was told. Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but
interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see.
All right, so we have 2 announcements left.
Okay.
Both at the same park.
Okay.
So
That means Magic Kingdom.
No. There's one park we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, Animal Kingdom, Dino Land, Zootopia. I could not be more happy about this announcement.
Which part of it?
The Zootopia part. And them not making that a Zootopia area.
Right. But they are taking away um, tough to be a bug, and having that become a Zootopia show.
So are they okay? So I'm going to tell you my initial thought was that they're doing something on the outside of the Tree of Life, like the Awakening. Like it was going to be an outdoor show for the nighttime show.
So initially, that's what I thought too. But I've watched a bunch of different posts here, there, and everywhere, and it all sounds like that Tough to Be a Bug is going to be exterminated, and that it'll become a Zootopia show.
Okay.
Forgive me while I humor myself with my extermination joke. So the Zootopia, either like you said, a show on the tree, a projection show at night, or retheming Tough to Be a Bug. My my problem, if it's the projection show, my problem with that is I don't feel like that's D23 worthy, solely because you only have the projection show what about 4 months out of the year, 5 months at most because of daylight. So I don't. Uh, that's why I think they're shutting down Bugs Life.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, Tina, that are that way, that they're disappointed.
Hi, Disney Randy. Yeah, so Disney Randy was the one that was like, oh, they're going to take away A Bug's Life. And I was like, that's not how I took it, but maybe I just misunderstood.
Well, we'll find out more, I'm sure. But
We
you're
will.
right, Randy. That show does freak a lot of people out the very
It
first
does.
time, and I I don't know however many times we've been in there. There's never been a single time where there wasn't some kid screaming bloody murder halfway through that show.
Yeah.
That
I love it. I love that show.
were you ever down there to do Honey I Shrunk the Audience at Epcot?
Yes.
That was similar, right? With the
Yes.
snake and the mice and all that. Ugh. Yes. Okay, so the Zootopia and the tree.
Uh-huh.
Now the rest of Dinoland. You want to talk about that?
Well, Indiana Jones. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it's a combo, right?
It is. I don't remember what the combo is.
Encanto,
Encanto. There you go.
Indiana Jones. Now,
Oh yeah. So yes, because he presented it as like a subtropical climate.
yeah, I mean, my gut tells me that the Indiana Jones portion of that is solely retheming, redesigning the dinosaur ride.
Yes. Yes.
I I get that because it's what they have in Disneyland, so that should work pretty well, right? It's the same ride track they have at Disneyland. It makes a lot of sense, but it'll feel weird to still have the Indiana Jones stunt show at Hollywood Studios.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Like maybe they should move that over to Animal Kingdom, and then what do you do with that theater?
Right.
I mean, if you could come up with a pretty cool Star Wars themed show in that theater, that would make sense because you got Star Tours right there, and then no, Robbie, no announcement on Villains Park expansion. They did talk about.
So that's why I said Magic Kingdom, because I thought you were going to talk about that.
So first off, before we go to the Magic Kingdom thing, they said Encanto, they said Indiana Jones, but I don't think they said it's a done deal, definite. This is what we're doing.
No.
The impression was we may theme it Encanto,
what
Indiana.
What they said was get off our backs about Zootopia. We've come up with something else that we want to throw out there to see if everybody likes. And then we'll move forward. That's what they did. So.
I think somebody, might have been Robbie, on your live today, or maybe my days get blended, and maybe it even wasn't even Robbie, that somebody commented that they need to bring the boat ride back to Animal Kingdom. And that just makes me think of right outside of Everest, that big giant seating auditorium area that they used to do the kite show, and then they had whatever the light show was prior to that. Mm-hmm. It would be great if they bring something back in that area. It doesn't have to be at night; it could be during the day. But I mean,
it's too hot. It's just too hot.
I get
They would have to have a covered area.
Which wouldn't be that hard to do in the grand scheme of things.
No, but it is just too hot.
I mean, you look at like the bird show. You're sitting outside in that bird show, and it's covered, and it's not terrible.
Right.
They could put covering and put in the big giant fans to get air circulation in there, and then do something out there. That would be nice.
Right.
Jules, you're right. That we do need more stuff at Animal Kingdom, and that's. And I always love this argument people get into. You got the side that says Animal Kingdom is a half-day park, and then you get the other side that are like baloney. It's a full-day park. You're just not getting the most out of it. Well, the problem is, all it takes is one ride to go down, whether it's Flight of Passage or Everest, and all of a sudden there's like 5 rides left. So hopefully if they do Encanto, I hope they add more than just one attraction back there. They need to add 2 or 3 attractions back there. Whether it's doing a boat. There you go, Shane. They need to bring Goofy back on skis. That's right. So all you youngsters could see it like I did. That adding 2 or 3 rides / attractions in Dinoland plus the Indiana Jones ride would be valuable. Do you think they will expand with the Way of Water movie? It's possible, Tina. Fountain laser show on the lake at night would be cool, Robbie.
I think they wouldn't do it because of the animals. I'm just saying,
With a laser show? I mean, not fireworks, but just a
No, I know, but still. Didn't we already have that, though, with the show prior?
They did. And I loved it. I remember seeing that show. I thought it was great.
I remember seeing it, too, and it was extremely boring to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, maybe they could have Animal Kingdom forever. All the way from Epcot. We bring you Animal Kingdom forever.
Right.
All right, so the Dino Land remake, retheme, rebrand, whatever you want to call it, is we think so.
Right.
I'm fired. Come on, Tina. It's a Disney knows they have to do something with it. I don't think they've decided yet what they're going to do with it.
No.
We don't want to scare the animals. No, we don't, and they'll never do fireworks there.
Right.
Absolutely. But bring Robbie. Robbie needs that and the tavern to open up, and he's set. Put it right by Yak and Yeti, and he's golden. What was I going to say? I wish that I know the park closes earlier because the safari side of the park, they got to get the animals put away for the night and all that. But man, in the summertime, half of the beauty of that whole Avatar area is lost because it's still daylight out. So they need to find a way to maybe just have extended hours in that part of the park up to the tree and do the projection show in the tree at 9:00 at night in the summer, 9:30, whatever it is. I think that would be great.
Right.
That would be cool, Randy. But again, I mean, there's so much space in that Dinoland area.
Yes.
I mean, I said Indiana Jones would only be the dinosaur ride. My guess is that kids play area where you can pretend like you're digging up fossils, that's probably going to be Indiana Jones as well, right? That's right up his
that's true.
Doing that sort of thing. Yeah, they need to do that again, Kayla.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that all the time in the summertime. You don't get to see, if you've never been there at night,
Right.
you're missing out on all that illumination there.
Yeah.
Tina, don't use your fancy words on us. It's got 5 syllables. That's 3 too many for me. All right, so those were all the D23 announcements. I think we covered them all. Except for Magic Kingdom. Let's go back there.
Right. Yep. So Magic Kingdom, basically what they said, I'm not, no direct quotes here, But basically, what Josh said is we announced something last year. We put that idea out and we've taken this year to think about it. And now we're ready, as he said, I think he said, we're ready to turn the burners on to getting that plan out there. You know, we're going to put something together, but there's nothing yet.
And right now, aren't they just simply calling it Beyond Big Thunder Mountain?
Yes. Yep. And he still used that term. Yep.
Yep. Jules, look at that. You nailed it.
Yep.
But I mean, that's all they're saying.
That's
And
it.
I struggle in my brain to think how much space is back there. Just because it feels like you get to that part of the park and the train goes around back there and there's no room. But there must be, right?
There is, and he said it. He said, we have the room. We have, we have the ability. So.
Now, I'm going to say this, just it crossed my mind, and I'm sure some people won't like it, but why don't they get rid of Tom Sawyer Island, fill in that hole, all that water area there, and man, it's a ton of space.
Tom Sawyer's Island.
Well, I was less about losing Tom Sawyer's Island. People might not be happy about the ferry boat. That if they kill that too.
Riverboat?
Yeah, the riverboat.
I don't think anybody's going to be upset about that, are they?
I don't know. I'm sure. Well, you can always find somebody who's not happy no matter what they do.
Yeah. That, I think, is the best bathroom, supposedly. According to TikTok, the best bathroom to go to is on Tom Sawyer's Island. I think it's just nice and quiet.
Sure, yeah. There's only 3 people on the island. It's like Fantasy Island when I was a kid on that TV show. All right, so that's it, right? Those are all the announcements for D23. So, and again, to me, some of the announcements are just repeats of what we'd already heard, right? The Beyond Thunder Mountain, for instance, the Dinoland refurb. Those are all, we've heard those before. The Zootopia Tree of Life, whether it's a projection show or a replace of Bug's Life, that was newsworthy. The test track, I think, was kind of a shock that people weren't expecting. So that was pretty cool. We knew that they were going to come out with a new Epcot nighttime show. It was just a matter of when and what it was going to be called.
I know, Kayla, I agree. It would be awesome, but
now, yeah, Frozen Land would be okay, but you have Frozen stuff at Magic Kingdom. You've got Frozen stuff at Hollywood Studios. Now, I don't know what kind of rides you'd have and how you theme it, but if they turn that Dinoland into a whole area for Up, man, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah.
Or do Big Hero 6. That would be cool. Although that doesn't really fit the Animal Kingdom theme at all.
It doesn't.
Up would, because Kevin's already there, Doug's already there,
Mm-hmm.
Russell's already there. So
yes.
That would work. Yeah, Jules, I think, they will eventually expand behind Big Thunder Mountain. I think it's going to be a while. Because, if I'm Disney, I'm going to go down my checklist and say, okay, we did the whole Galaxy's Edge in Star Wars at Hollywood Studios. Check. We launched Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, and we're doing Moana and the new nighttime show. Check. We are doing Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Magic Kingdom. Check. I think Animal Kingdom is the next park to get the next Big Bang thing to happen.
I agree.
Yeah, I think if you ask most people, Kayla, they would like the Villains Land or that kind of theme. I just don't know if they're certainly not going to do that at Animal Kingdom.
I agree, Shane. That would be so much fun. Let's recognize all the sidekicks.
All right, so since Shane just commented, should we go to his topic next?
Absolutely.
So Shane asked us to talk about the Good Neighbor hotels.
Okay.
And first, I'll start with Shane. Shame on you for not being here last week because we talked about them then. I should be careful because Shane lives probably 10 miles from me. He'd come get me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Shane can find you.
can find me. Yes. So I'll kind of go through the spiel that gets into what Good Neighbor hotels are. It's going to be kind of a repeat of last week. If you were here last week, you can think
No,
about
don't leave. Don't leave.
you can think about something else for a few minutes. So there are essentially three categories of places that you can stay when you go to Disney World. You have the Disney resorts on property inside the bubble, whatever you want to call it, and those are the deluxe, the moderate, and the value resorts. You have what are called Good Neighbor resorts that are not Disney owned, but Disney has type of a partnership with them, and they are typically lined up pretty darn close to Disney Springs. And we'll get into a little bit more about that. And then the third category is just essentially completely off property, completely unrelated to Disney, whether that's the Holiday Inn Express down the road or the Motel 6 or it's an Airbnb or it's Aunt Susie's basement, whatever. Those are basically your three categories. And so again, I just grabbed my notes from last week, Janelle, so I'm going to rattle the stuff off.
Okay.
We kind of talked about the pros and cons of each of the levels. So from the resort standpoint, being in the bubble, the theming at each of the resorts kind of sets themselves apart from the other two categories. The transportation clearly sets the resorts fully apart from the other two categories. And we'll talk about transportation on the Good Neighbors here in a little bit, but you don't have monorails, you don't have Skyliners, and you don't have the frequency of the buses, nor do you have the water, the boat options for transportation like that you have at the Disney resorts. Promotions. Disney runs promotions all year long, and I've got those sitting here in front of me, but those promotions are for their resorts on property. I mentioned the bounce back. Somebody asked about that, messaged me, and we can talk about that here in a little bit. The current promotions that are happening right now, those are all for the Disney resorts, so you don't have that at the other two categories. The proximity. Any promotions for a free stay? Yes, Tina, if you want to come over to my house, I'll make up the shed free of charge. Absolutely. Anytime. You're always welcome here. The proximity. It's, especially if you got littles and they need that mid-afternoon break or nap or what have you, being 5 or 10 minutes to your resort on property and not having to wait for a bus for a lengthy period of time, there's an advantage there. And then the other thing is, if you stay on property, you can book your dining 60 days out from your arrival date for your entire stay, up to 10 days. So I think the example we used was if you're going to go to Disney on January 1st, if you stay on property, we'll call it November 1st. It might be November 2nd with 31 days in December, whatever, but call it November 1st. On November 1st, if you're staying on property, you can make your dining reservations for each of the days of, say, your week-long stay. If you're staying off property, whether that's at Good Neighbor or at Aunt Susie's house, on November 1st, you can book your dining for January 1st. And on November 2nd, you can book your dining for January 2nd. And each day like that. So there's that advantage to being on property. Shane, for you, I'm going to do Good Neighbor last. If you're completely offsite, off property, your pros, you're probably saving money from just the sheer cost. I mean, an Airbnb you can probably get at a reasonable rate. You may have more flexibility because you're located equally between Disney and SeaWorld or Disney and Universal or whatever else you want to do in the Orlando area. There's a ton of things to do. So there's those advantages. Now, from a disadvantage, again, there's no promotions. There's no transportation provided by Disney to your Airbnb. You have to possibly rent a car. If you fly into Orlando International Airport, MCO, you're renting a car and you have that expenditure. And then you have to pay to park at the parks. So there's those costs. And then you lose out on theming. So there's a big financial equation that goes into this whole decision of what's better, the resort, good neighbor, or non-resort. A lot of different factors to look at. Good neighbors, there's I don't know about a half dozen or so, maybe a dozen that are Disney are affiliated with. So, for instance, if you reach out to me to book a trip, I can book those Good Neighbor resorts on your behalf. They're lower in cost than staying on property. They do offer some limited transportation. They have bus services to the parks, not as frequent, and they're very scheduled. I think you talked about that last week, Janelle. That if it says the bus is leaving at noon, it's leaving at noon, and if you're there at 12:01, you missed it. And the next one may not come for another hour. They don't have as many buses running to the Drury Inn or whatever the other ones are off top. I can't think off top of my head.
Yeah. Well, so I will say, this week Megan stayed at the Best Western Plus. Yeah. And it was right off of it was about 2 miles, 3 miles from Disney Springs. Not far away at all. I feel like every time I took her to the hotel, it was about a 15-minute drive. It was no more than 15 minutes of our drive. Thank you, Dustin, of getting her to the location. She's stayed at 3 so far, the Drury, the Wyndham, and now the Best Western. As far as the transportation goes, the Drury has the most of all the transportation, the most scheduled buses. The Wyndham, you had to put in a reservation the day before to say what park you were going to. And if you wanted to change your park, you couldn't change your park. You were stuck with that or taking an Uber or Lyft. And now the least expensive of all of them, which I will tell you, during this time that she was there, it was $65 a night, which is crazy. And there was no transportation. When she booked it, they told her, yeah, we have transportation. And she got there and the guy was like, oh, because of the hurricane, we don't have transportation right now. And I was like, what? The hurricane? Which hurricane?
So 65 a night is a bargain, right? That's approximately $100 less than the All Stars Sports, right. Music, and movies. But again, if she rented a car, she's paying, if you were going to stay, you had to rent a car, right?
Right.
You'd be paying $40-$50 a day for your rental car. You'd be paying $25 a day to park at the parks, right? Or in her case, if she Ubered, she's probably paying maybe $50 round trip.
It was $12
one way
for her.
Yeah, 25. So, and again, single person, no kids, no car seats to worry about, that sort of thing. I guess where I'm going is, yes, $100 less. Wow.
Thank you, Dustin.
It's $100 less, but that $100 gets shrunk down when you factor in rental a car, pay to park at the parks, Uber, that sort of thing. Yes, Robbie's right. There's a shortage or a limitation of rental cars inventory in Orlando, so that's challenging as well. I guess it's that old adage of you get what you pay for, right? And so $65 is great, but then there were the added headaches of no transportation, or in the case of the other place, you had to schedule it the day before and there was no change.
Right.
So
yeah, it was just 3 different hotels, 3 different transportation things. I know with Robbie, and he can tell me, I know he had like a piece of paper that told him the schedule. Like I said, the Drury had the most of the 3 that I've seen her use. And he knew, he carried the little piece of paper around with him, and he knew the bus schedule. So.
Yeah. It's, and going back to kids, if you have kids, and they hit a wall at 2:30, and it's time to take them back to the resort, you may have to wait longer for the Jury bus or the
Right.
Wyndham bus or whomever than if you're catching your bus back to All Stars. Um, yeah, I know Robbie liked the Jury, and as a whole, I love the Juries.
Yes.
They're great. So, Shane, did we kind of cover for you your questions about?
And I will say at each of the hotels that I have, the three, they all have the same theming of like Disney stuff. They do have Disney stuff in there, whether it be a teacup that you can take a picture with or something like that. But that's about it. And I do know, so I know Megan's getting free breakfast. That's included. So again, it's again, like you said, Mike, where are you going to spend your money? So thank you, Dustin. So many noises.
Robbie, I'm surprised you haven't commented on
Thank
this
you.
yet, but at the Jury Inn, they have free breakfast. They also have an evening manager's reception where essentially they're feeding you free dinner, and I think you get 1 or 2 drink coupons as well. So those are great unless your intent is to be in the park all day long, and then you're not going to go back to the resort to have the dinner, the reception. And I think, and Robbie, you can correct me, or Janelle, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jury Inn had a cutoff to the last bus that goes to the parks, and it was like early, like 5 or 6 in the evening or something like that, if I remember right. Hey, Karen. So it wasn't like you said, "Hey, I'm going to go back to the resort, have the manager's dinner, and then head back to Magic Kingdom at 8 o'clock for fireworks."
Right.
You'd have to take an Uber at that point. So
That is true.
again, with the cost savings, there's a little bit less flexibility than you have at the resorts.
Right. Yeah, Shane, you just have to weigh, ultimately when you're picking that resort and seeing the price of it, what you're getting with it and what is your time worth and all of that. And I think we talk about that a lot, even if it doesn't matter if Genie Plus or staying on property or off property, like what is your time, worth, and what do you want to get out of your, your time there. So.
And again, I mentioned this, none of the promotions that Disney offers are applicable to the Good Neighbor resorts. And, there's 2 or 3 promotions going on right now that have been running for a while now. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can get up to 35% off rooms, October, November, December. For just, if you're not a Disney Plus subscriber, there's a 25% off promotion going on through like October through Christmas Day. Disney just announced a week ago, the dining promo card, which is a promotion they actually launched back in February, March, for stays like now, probably August through middle of this month. And they just started up again for arrivals at the end of October through all of November, most of December, and then January, I think, through into March, where you can get up to $1,000 dining promotion card, which is basically a virtual gift card for dining, quick service, table service, snacks, your refillable mugs, whatever. And it's based on how many nights you stay and what category resort you stay at. If it's value, it's like $60 per night that goes on your dining card. If it's a moderate resort, it's $120 a night. And if you're staying at a deluxe, it's $200 a night. So if you go for 5-night stay and you're staying at a Wilderness Lodge, you're getting a $1,000 dining card to go towards all your meals. So that's a pretty cool promotion that's going on. And then Disney brought back the bounce back promotion. They had those pre-COVID, and I remember them like they were yesterday, going into the resort, going into my room, and you go through all of the, hey, Brandon, go through all the literature and stuff, and there was a brochure about a bounce back that if you booked your next trip before you checked out, you could save, I think it was up to 20%, maybe 25 at the most back then. They discontinued them once the parks closed for COVID, and they didn't bring them back. They just now launched it. if you are had a 2023 stay, and I say if, really it's from this point forward, if you have a stay in 2023, you can book a 2024 trip while you're still there or up to 7 days after you've checked out, which that's new. It used to be you had to book it before you checked out of your hotel or your resort. Now you can do it up to 7 days after. For a 2024 stay, there are a few blackout dates like Christmas and things like that, but the promotion is better than they were in the past. In the past, the max was 25% for deluxe resorts, and it was 20 and 15. This bounce back, it's 25% off your room for value resorts, 30% off your room for moderates, and 35% off deluxe resorts for the bounce back. So again, if you're staying anytime the rest of this year, from the time you're in your resort to the time you check out 7 days after, you can take advantage of the bounce back promotion, and I can absolutely work with you and secure that for you. And yeah, you get 25 to 35% off your room.
Oh no, got some cat paws.
Oh boy.
We'll keep talking.
Okay. That was somebody had messaged me about the bounce back and what that was. So I wanted to cover that real quick. And that kind of ties into, again, one of the values of staying at the Disney resorts is you get those promotions available to you. Okay. The other topic was crowd calendars. And again, I don't remember who suggested it on your Discord. So hopefully whoever suggested it is here to listen in. Otherwise, I'll keep my notes for next week.
I was going to say, or we'll just talk about it again.
Absolutely, yes. At some point, we're going to just have a recording. We'll just push play every week. Oh, good. It was Kayla. Good.
You're Kayla. Okay, good.
So I'm going to pull up my computer here. So I might blind you with what happened.
So I love that, like, if you're working with a travel agent, they do have this calendar. And when I've talked to Mike about things in the past, he'll say things to me like, oh, that's in the green, or that's in the red, because he has this fancy calendar. And I'll ask, is it a Disney calendar, Mike, or is it from your travel agency?
I'm just fancy.
Fancy?
No, Janelle is not a travel agent.
No, I am. Mike is. This guy is. So Dustin, I don't know. Whichever way Mike is, it's him.
Yeah. Between the two of us, I'm the beast. Right?
No, I'm not a travel agent, Dustin. Just happen to love Disney, and I let other people. I go and inspire y'all and influence y'all to go to Mike and book the trip.
Yes. Janelle throws finances out the window when she suggests
all the time.
I believe, I think I can almost quote you. You said to me something to the effect that you're always here to help us make poor decisions.
Is that what I said?
It was something like that.
Probably.
Okay, so I saw Robbie mention it. The first full week of November, and this isn't on any calendar, is Jersey Week.
Okay.
The first full week of November, all of the schools in the state of New Jersey are on their fall break or whatever it is. And I think the governor actually closes the state down and they all fly to Florida.
That's what happens.
Yes, I mean, pretty close. So if you ever wanted to visit the state of New Jersey, the first week of November is a great time to do it.
Yes.
There's nobody out on the roads. But yes, so the first week of November is the unofficial Jersey week down there. And it's busy, but I mean, it's not like Christmas busy.
Right.
Snooty will be there.
Jim and Disney. I love that. I love it, Shane.
All right, so from a 2023 perspective, we'll start there, Kayla, because you had said that somebody might be interested in that. Historically, the month of September is actually the best month to go to Disney. And Disney does all these analytics over the last X number of years to determine when the best times to go are. So the month of September, from start to finish, is the absolute best month from a crowd perspective to go. There are no Run Disney events. There's no cheer weekends. There are no activities like that. There's no Jersey Weeks or any other state that closes down for a week in the month of September. Kids are going back to school. Summer vacations are ending, whatever the case may be. So the month of September, as a whole, is the best month from a crowd perspective. Yes, yes, Robbie, you're right. I mean, the hurricane season, we talked about this last week. Technically, the hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. Yes, I'm a weather geek. I like that sort of stuff. And like next week is the peak of hurricane season every year. It's like the third week of September is the peak of hurricane season. So you are in the window potentially running into a hurricane. Now, if you followed Janelle, it's been 2 weeks ago now since the hurricane went north of you. If you're already there, it can be advantageous. People, and the example from Janelle, she was there the day before the hurricane, and the park was, it was Janelle's park, just about.
It was wonderful.
And I think what happens is people that were already down there made flight changes to get out of town before the hurricane hit. And I think I use myself as the example. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and about as far away from any tropical system you could ever get, I suppose, unless you lived in North Dakota. And so for people who have no experience whatsoever, I used another Disney planner, and the help mic will be there for you. I'm not sure what that means, Robbie. But yes, Omaha, Nebraska represent. That's right. So if you have no exposure whatsoever to a hurricane ever, and you're down there and you hear hurricanes coming, I think a lot of people changed their flights and left early. And so that day before the hurricane, the park was empty. And we talked about this last week too. Disney does a great job of taking care of their guests that are there. They're never going to put you in harm's way. If it's not safe, they don't want the guests to be injured. They certainly don't want their cast members to be injured. They'll take good care of you. If there's a hurricane, Mike can assist. That's right, Robbie. Yes, absolutely. Oh, we did talk about that last week too. Last year, I got to get a drink. Last year, you had 2 hurricanes in like a week span or 2 week span, and the park was closed. If you booked the trip on your own, and this is one of the risks, you were on hold for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours waiting to get through to Disney to change your travel plans. If you use a travel agent, doesn't have to be me, but if you use a travel agent, they're on the phone on your behalf to make whatever changes. So, and again, it's the value of your time, right?
Yes.
Would you rather sit on hold for 8 hours or go do something else for 8 hours and let somebody else take care of that for you? So that's another, that's one of those hidden advantages of using a travel agent. Anyway, got way off topic here, but yes, so August, September, October, those are kind of the prime hurricane months. Keep that in mind. But we talked about this last week. Disney, I wish I had my notes. I bet I could find them. Disney's been open. How many days did I tell you, Janelle? I got it here somewhere. I have to have it.
11? Or how many days have they been open? I don't remember that.
Disney had been open like 50,000 days or some crazy number. Gosh darn it. But anyway, of the 52 years that Disney has been open, no, that's not it. I don't know what I did with those notes, but of the 52 years that Disney had been opened, the park has only closed 11 days in total. So the point being is, yes, it's hurricane season, but it's very, very rare that the park ever closes. And of those 11, I think what I say that 5 of those had been in like the last 4 or 5
Yes.
years.
Yes.
So it's very rare. So your risk is minimal. So again, the advantage of lighter crowds in the month of September, it's still hot, right, Janelle? Today's the
Yeah.
13th of September. We're halfway through the month almost. It's still hot.
It's still
Um,
hot.
but
It-
is it August hot? Maybe not quite as
but
bad.
last week wasn't. And so then today was back to feels like over 100 degrees, you know? So the past couple of days have been hot, but last week was wonderful. It was in the 90s. We had the breeze. It was very enjoyable. And when I mean that, and I know when I say, oh, it was only 90, the high was only 91. If you're here and in it all the time, that was wonderful. It was wonderful. It made a huge difference. So
Okay, so back to crowd calendar. So September
yes,
historically
Tamabaki.
month to go each month.
Friday was great. Good.
October gets a little bit busier at the parks. Obviously, you go that very last week of Halloween. Magic Kingdom in particular is pretty busy there. And typically in October, and I'm going to say this typically because there's a million school districts around the country, but most schools do have a fall break, and a lot of times that falls in the month of October. So you're going to have a little bit bump in crowd sizes in October. This is my personal opinion, Janelle, and you can tell me if you can tell me if I'm crazy anyway, but the general local population there is going to hit up, especially if you're an annual pass holder, you're going to hit up the parks in October more than you will in September because it's not quite as hot.
Correct.
So if you want to go see the Food and Wine Festival, you're probably waiting until October to be able to enjoy cooler temperatures. It's more comfortable in the morning and in the evenings. It still can be hot in the heart of the day, but it's better for that purpose.
Right.
And likewise, we talked about this. As a northerner, I love going in January, and I hope like crazy that there's a cold front that comes through Orlando and all the locals stay home because it's 60 degrees out. I mean, that's heaven, right? 60 degrees in January. I'm in shorts and maybe a sweatshirt in the morning. And I'm enjoying the comfortable temperatures because 60 is a heat wave from where I'm at in January, and Shane knows that.
Right.
All right, so rambling on here. I
was going to say, Tina's asking which crowd calendar. I mean, I think Undercover is a good one, but you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would assume that Undercover is taking right from where Mike is, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Shane, you're right. February is a good month weather-wise. Yeah, Tina, that's a good one to use. And you're right, Janelle. They get most of them find somebody to get them the information off of where I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So October to me is a great month from a weather perspective. If you like the warmth, you're still going to get it midday, but the mornings and evenings are pretty comfortable. Yeah. So Shane, the only downside to that is when you fly back home and your car's buried at the airport. If you were too cheap to park in the garage. Yeah, Tina, I don't think Disney would ever do it because they want people to come year round.
Right. They would do it and they would tell you, come all the time. It's green.
Okay, so if we jump to the month of November, there's two crowd windows there that are problematic. The first is the first weekend, like the 2nd through the 5th of November, is a Run Disney event. And so it gets pretty crowded down there for all of the folks that come down to run. Yeah, Jersey Week. Jersey Week is, like I said this earlier, it's an unpublished holiday down there, so I forget about that one. The other one that is published is Thanksgiving Week, right? That's always pretty busy down there because a lot of schools are out at least Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Shane, did I read that right? You're going to drop me off and pick me up at the airport? Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
I'm sure that's what Shane meant.
That's what he meant. That's how I read it.
And Shane, you know what I'll do for you? I'll get you a Figment postcard.
Just like this one.
There you go. Exactly.
Just like this one.
Deal.
Right here.
Yeah.
I mean, Figment signed it just for himself, too.
If you were looking to go in the month of November, so the first full week of November is Jersey Week. That's out. Basically, the last week of November is out because that's Thanksgiving. If you can go the week before Thanksgiving, the crowds are lighter. The weather's incredible in November. Still warm during the day, but man, it's very comfortable mornings and evenings. The only downside of like November, December, January, and maybe February is the fact that you might have to wear layers, right? It might be too cold in the morning to go in short sleeves and shorts, but that's what you need to wear during the middle of the day. So keep that in mind that you might have to tote around a sweatshirt or something like that. Otherwise, you can. I don't think my dad ever wore a sweatshirt when we'd go, and even if it was 60 degrees out, he would just tough it out until it warmed up in the middle of the day.
What week in October would you think would be the least crowded, Mike?
I will tell you, either the very first week of October or the full week before Halloween. Those are typically the two least crowded months historically in the month of October. Shane, nobody wants to see me in a tank top. That's for sure. All right.
That's when when I meet my husband and I, we see people in tank tops and shorts, and we have our coats on, and we are just like, those people are crazy. Every year, without fail, every year, we're like, look at them.
So, Shane, I think you might have been on. Janelle mentioned this. I don't know if it was last week on this call or whatever, but Janelle has banned the use of wind chill when we get into winter on her lives. You can't say wind chill. I got scolded for that last year. So we don't talk about those things, but I can talk about it right now because it's still summer.
You can.
If it's
Shane, he remembers.
Yeah. If it's 55 degrees in Florida, you're going to be in a coat, right?
Yes.
If it's 55 in Florida, it's probably 20 below here. So it's 75 degrees warmer. Why wouldn't I be in shorts and a t-shirt? That's a huge difference. It's just huge. I mean, if you haven't been in an area where the wind chill is so cold that when you go outside and you breathe in through your nose, that your nose hairs freeze. You're not living if you haven't had that experience.
Oh my gosh. I have. I've lived perfectly far away from that weather.
Now, I would say I've never been there for it, but I would love to be in Florida during one of those cold spells where the iguanas are falling out of the trees at night.
Oh gosh.
I'd like to see that.
Oh my goodness. I feel so bad for them. I mean, we don't have a lot of them here in Central Florida. They're more on the East Coast, but every year those videos, it's no good.
I say that I'd like to see that, but I'd be the unlucky sort along, and one would fall out of a tree and hit me in the head. And then you'd be laughing. Exactly. All right, so let's round up 2023 December. The 1st through about the 20th is your best bet. Really, the week right after Thanksgiving, or the very first week of December, if you want to enjoy the Christmas colors and the decorations and everything that Disney has to offer, the week after Thanksgiving, the first week of December, whatever you want to call that, is the best opportunity to do it. The crowds are lighter, and you're in full swing of Christmas, so it's great. The weekend after Thanksgiving, Kayla, I think you're going to enjoy. It's still crowded, right? I mean, it's always, the air quote of less crowded. It's still going to be busy, right? There's very few days, unless it's a hurricane day, where the parks are pretty doggone empty. It's just the way it is, right? Now, I think it's kind of ebbed and flowed. Um, Janelle, will Grand Floridian Lobby be finished before Christmas?
It's finished.
Finished now,
Yeah.
and you couldn't tell a difference, could you?
So, bye, Robbie. Have fun watching the fireworks.
Yeah. Good night, Robbie. Take care, buddy.
No, I can't tell the difference.
So I know we may have talked about this. Depending upon who you listen to, whatever, the crowds are down at Disney. Some people say they're up. Whatever. I part of that for me, like that stretch where it was hot as blazes down there, 110-degree heat index, 115, whatever it was, day in and day out. The parks tended to look empty, but that's because people weren't standing watching the stage show. It was too dang hot to be standing out there watching it. They were all inside in a line in the air conditioning to ride something. Our crowd levels down somewhat? I think a little bit. I think there was, coming out of COVID, about a year after COVID, I think everybody was tired of being cooped up, and so people were traveling like gangbusters. And I think that's calmed down some.
I think so too.
But again, that first full week of December or the week after Thanksgiving is great in December. The closer you get to Christmas, it's busy. I've never been there on Christmas Day. 2 years in a row, we flew down the day after Christmas, and we were there through New Year's. We did Epcot both years on New Year's Eve. The show was incredible, but it was friggin' packed, big time. Tina, we'll roll into 2024 here and hit January in a minute. But yeah, the parks are jam-packed on those big holidays like that. If you're not a people-y person, you don't want to go. You really don't want to go because it's nuts. Yeah, Darren, I think you'll have a great time first week of December and doing the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. But I like, if you're there on Christmas and New Year's, those are probably the two biggest ones: New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Day, maybe Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving. Some of those I liken it to pre-COVID going Black Friday shopping. If you're not about the crowds, you don't want to be in the parks on those days either.
Right.
I enjoy people watching, so I don't mind doing it. I was one of those fools that would stand in line at 3 a.m. at Best Buy waiting for the place to open up.
Oh my God.
All right. So that's 23. Again, the week of Christmas into New Year's, it's really busy, really packed. I was surprised that Disney's like the dining card promo that I mentioned, the Disney Plus subscriber promotion that I mentioned, the 25% off, all of those run through Christmas Day. So, I mean, you could be there the week of Christmas leading up to Christmas Day, and you can get one of those promotions if there's still availability. I was surprised at that. Because if you're going to go on Christmas, you're going regardless of what the price is.
Right.
So, pretty cool. All right, 2024. Should we rattle off the weekends that have stuff first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Tina, I think you asked January. So we'll start there. You asked about end of January, but here it is. January 3rd through the 7th is a Run Disney weekend. January 12th through the 14th is a cheer weekend. Cheer, dance, that sort of thing. So those 2 weekends are busier. Obviously, the January 3rd through the 7th, you're also, again, those people that came for New Year's, they're probably still there. So that's pretty darn busy. Now, Tina, you mentioned end of January. Really from about the 22nd of January to the end of the month, the crowds are again lighter. I'm not going to say they're light. They're lighter. So depending upon exactly when, end of January, I think you should do all right. From a crowd perspective, the weather is incredible in January. It can be, if you're a southerner, it can be cold at times, but depending upon where you're coming from, if you're, Destin, it's only busy 2 of the weekends. Wait till I get to February. January's not too bad. 27th through the 30th, it's our second 2-year wedding anniversary. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So crowd levels will be good then for you. Depending on where you're traveling from, the weather is going to be great. Or you can see Janelle's face, it might be cold. Yeah, if I kind of draw a line. If you're coming from anywhere north of, say, Atlanta to Little Rock to maybe Albuquerque, if you live north of there, the weather won't be bad. It'll be nice.
Thank you, Dustin.
All right, so that's January. Again, from a crowd perspective, the middle of January to the end of January, the crowd levels are pretty good. Once you get past that cheer weekend of the 12th through the 14th, the crowd levels in January aren't too bad. February is a busy month at Disney. I don't want to scare you away from going in February, but the February 2nd through the 4th weekend, there's a cheer weekend going on. February 9th through the 11th, the very next weekend, there's a cheer weekend going on. February 16th through the 19th, there's a cheer weekend going on. And February 22nd through the 25th, no cheer weekend, but it's a Run Disney weekend. So every weekend in February is busier because of those events. And I would assume most people, if you're going to go down for a cheer weekend, you might go a day or two early. If you're going down for a Run Disney, you might go a day or two early or stay a day or two after. So those crowds aren't just consumed to the Friday or contained Friday to Saturday. It could be Thursday to Monday or something like that. So keep that in mind. Weather in February is nice. I don't think it's quite as cold. I air quoted, but you just couldn't see me do it. It's not quite as cold as January. You can have warmer days, but the mornings are beautiful. The evenings are pretty nice. Crowd levels, middle of February, about the 10th through the 25th are busier, in addition to those weekend events. So crowds start to pick up in February. Not quite as bad as the next couple of months after that, but busier than January. Jump to March. March 1st through the 3rd, there's a cheer weekend. March 9th through the 11th, there is a cheer weekend. The next weekend kicks off
Spring
break. And I remember watching you this past March and April, and seemed like it was busy, nutty almost every day. So you go, for me, I would say middle of March all the way to the end of April is pretty much spring break. You've got Easter mixed in there somewhere. It's busy. It's crowded. I don't think there's any way to put it other than that middle of March, at least through the first week or two of April, is pretty busy. Ronnie, happy birthday in March.
So Easter is going to be the last Sunday in March 31st this year or next year.
Early. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So you get maybe till the middle of April and won't be quite as bad. I think last year Easter was like the third week of April or something. It was super late.
I agree.
So in 2024, you get to about the middle towards the end of April, the crowds won't be quite as bad as the beginning of April and at least the last half of March. So keep that in mind. May, things get a little bit better. There's a cheer weekend the 2nd through the 5th, and that's the end of cheer season at Disney. And Janelle cheers. So you get from about that's the 2nd through the 5th. So call it the 6th or 7th of May until about the 20th, give or take. The crowds are pretty good there in May. So the weather's nicer, it's warmer. We were actually there in May. Janelle will tell you it was hot when we were there. I thought it was great. It was around 90. It wasn't bad. But crowds, I didn't think the crowds were bad when we were there either for that time. As soon as you hit Memorial Day weekend, though, schools are out, holiday weekend, things pick back up. So if your plans are to go in the month of May, anywhere from about the 7th through give or take the 20th, 22nd, somewhere in that neighborhood, crowd levels are pretty good. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, Janelle, but I think May is where that's kind of like the beginning of getting into the rainy season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So not as bad as the summer months with thunderstorms and that sort of thing, but May is a little more rainy than the earlier months
It is.
in the calendar year.
Yeah. It
Keep
is.
that.
It's the beginning.
And some of us would tell you to always make sure you have a poncho with you when you're at the park.
Do you want to see? I can't wait to use it. I got my new poncho. Look at this.
Did you get that because you were soaking wet the other night?
I had already bought it and then I hadn't gone to the mailbox in time to get it. So, yeah, but look, it comes in a little pouch and everything. So I'm gonna be able to attach it and I'm gonna have it. Like I'm actually gonna hook it on my bag.
Good. Because, yeah, you're right, Kayla. The poncho does no good if you leave it in the car.
Nope. And that's exactly where mine is. It's right in the back seat.
So your back seat was plenty dry.
It was. It was.
Oh, you found an emergency poncho and first aid kit. There you go. That's awesome. Because otherwise, if you go to the store, what do they charge for a poncho? About 15, 18 bucks?
It's 12, like right at $13.
Okay.
$9, right around $9 for a child, but 13 for an adult.
So there you go. June is probably between June and July, that's the best month to go crowd wise. You're at the beginning of hurricane season, so the likelihood of a tropical system in June is limited in Florida. Most hurricanes are south and east of there, out in the Atlantic. July is probably the busiest summer month there. You're in the middle of summer vacations. There are some schools that go into the first week of June or so, and so that's why June is not as bad as July. July, everybody's out of school. So it's busy in July. It's hot in July. I wouldn't tell you not to go. I've never been down there for this, but I think it would be really cool to be there on the 4th of July and see the pageantry. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Tasha, that is exactly the rule of thumb. If I take my poncho, it's not going to rain. I should carry it all the time. The minute I don't, it rains.
Yeah, we have the same thing here. If you gas up the snowblower, it won't snow. But if you don't have gas for the snowblower, it's going to snow.
Right. Okay. 4th of July, and I'm not ever. One of the things I want to experience is Thanksgiving, because I know Disney does do a little something on Thanksgiving. I've been on Easter, and I've been on I've been not on Christmas, but I've been all around that Christmas time. And 4th of July is my favorite. I mean, just the fireworks, the castle, everything that they do. And I know some people do not like it. They don't like the DJ. They don't like all of the extra stuff. But I think it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And
if you're not a people-y person.
And if you're not a people-y person.
Had a good time.
Yeah. And the fireworks at Epcot are, and like as I've said, I've seen the 4th of July fireworks multiple times in DC, really big cities, and this just it's like no other, same as if you went to DC. Those are in their own right beautiful and majestic, and so is what Disney does at Epcot on 4th of July.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back on one thing real quick. If you happen to, I mentioned New Year's, and we were there for New Year's. Unless it's changed, the Magic Kingdom. Sorry, my batteries got down to 20%. So unless it's changed, Magic Kingdom will do their New Year's Eve fireworks show on the 30th and the 31st.
And they're 2 times.
So if you're there, what I would say is go to Magic Kingdom on the 30th, see their New Year's Eve fireworks show, and then do Epcot on the 31st and see their show. So you can knock those out. It's a great opportunity.
So on New Year's Eve, if you were watching my live, My husband and I went to, it was like a six, I don't know. It was like six, I guess it might have been like 8 o'clock. I just remember we were home and like in bed by the time it was New Year's because we went to that 8 o'clock fireworks show and they did it twice and it was amazing. And we made it home and, like I said, we were in bed by midnight and because we were able to watch the show and Disney allowed us to do that.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
You mentioned wanting to be there on Thanksgiving. This is probably like mousetrap news, but
Okay.
I think Casey's Corners doesn't serve corn dog nuggets. They serve turkey legs only.
Well, I want to have my sound effects. Let's see. Ready. There you go.
Wow. We've been doing this show for how long now? And now we got sound effects. This is pretty
I
cool.
know. I finally am like, oh my gosh, where are the sound? And then whenever I was cheering earlier, I
feel like I'm on the Tonight Show or something.
yeah. We've gone up another level. We've, another notch for our side effects.
It took us 3 months to figure out how to be side by side and see the comments, but now we've migrated to sound effects.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. So I think we talked about July. It's the busiest of the summer months. The first week with 4th of July is the busiest of July. August is the best summer month to go. Crowds are lighter, especially the later you get into the month of August. Again, some schools start early. Our school started like August 10th or August 11th this year here in Omaha. And so the later in the month, you have more and more kids back to school. Families aren't really interested in taking their kid out of school their first week or two going back. So crowds aren't as bad. Is that a Chick-fil-A cup?
Do you have one? Oh, Chick-fil-A did not sponsor this live.
It's funny you say
but
that.
But they should. They should.
I almost started the thing tonight saying this is sponsored by. That's funny. That's really funny. So is that what you had for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Me too.
We almost could have worn our same shirts and had the same dinner.
I was this close to wearing that shirt tonight. Just because you wore it last week, I thought I'd do it. But then
I'll thank you. Thank you.
All right. So second half of August is great. Crowds are lighter. It's still hot as blazes, though. So if you're not interested in the heat, August is probably not the month to go. Now, I would say, again, being the weather nerd that I am, this August was historically hot down there. It's warm. It's usually upper 90s, heat index around 100 most of the time. But you guys were heat index 110, 115, like days and days and days. That's not normal. So this year was a little hotter than normal. But again, August is hot down there. I think I said this for 2023. September is historically the lightest month crowd-wise at Disney. Now, Labor Day weekend, you have a little bit of a spike there for the holiday weekend. But after that, the crowds are really light into September. Towards the end of September, it picks up a little bit. Again, you might have some schools that have a fall break towards the end of September, leading to October, but usually the crowds aren't too bad in September. That's a really good month to go. And then we talked about October, November, December for 23. It's the same for 24. In the month of November, the Run Disney weekend is November 1st through the 4th.
Okay.
So, and then obviously your holidays, right? Thanksgiving's busy, Christmas, New Year's, those are all really busy. The last 2 weeks of December is the busiest stretch of any of the days at Disney.
Okay.
Thanksgiving week is also really crowded.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy, I disagree. I don't think Taylor Swift holds a candle to Janelle. All right. So, Kayla, you were the one that asked about crowd calendars. Does that kind of hit what you had? Do you have specific questions? Does anybody have specific questions about when you were thinking about going to Florida, down to Disney? Or we can open up to any kind of questions. It doesn't matter
Right,
to me.
right. And it could be anything. Did you have Chick-fil-A for dinner tonight? Anything like that, you know.
What did you get
Have
from
you had
Chick-fil-A?
have you had the pimento cheese sandwich?
I I get the same thing every time. I'm a I'm a creature of habit. When I find something I like, I always get it. So I get the number one meal, and what do I have them hold?
No pickle.
Exactly, exactly. I've gotten to the point now where, like, when we go to sports bars and places, whatever I order, I have to tell them if you put a pickle in the basket, don't, because inevitably they put little pickle chips in there, and that pickle juice just—it's like it knows to attack the bun of your burger or whatever it is, and then it's just ruined. Destin wants to know about the weather in October. So, historically, the weather in October is pretty nice. It can still be hot during the day. Now, hot in October might be 90, so not ungodly hot. It's not as humid as it is in the middle of summer. The mornings and the evenings are really comfortable, might be in the 60s, so it's really nice out. But October, you're still in hurricane season, so you have to keep that in mind. I've got clients that are going down this week or next week, and the message I gave them through this whole process was the Weather Channel, whoever you follow, they know about a week to 10 days out if something's brewing. We'll just keep tabs on it. Disney is really, really good and flexible when it comes to hurricane stuff. If there's something that's impacting the Florida area with a potential hurricane, they'll allow you to cancel your trip if you need to. They'll allow you to change dates, whatever you need to do. So they're very flexible with that.
Favorite dish at Food and Wine? Tina. Hmm. Okay. Well, off just the top of my dome without thinking too much of it, I'm going to say the Impossible Slider. I've had it multiple times year after year. I'm trying to think if there's just something else. The dessert that comes to mind is the Irish cake, chocolate cake in Ireland. That cake is amazing. I had it again this year and it just does not disappoint. Every year I go back and I say that. But the Impossible Slider and let me look. Let me see if I'm missing something. What's yours, Mike?
Well, I was going to say, I appreciate the fact that you didn't just roll out pickle shake.
Nah, that's not going to happen. I
Good.
should have, but
All right, so let's, Destin, how long does a ride typically stay on virtual queue? That's a great question. So, Seven Dwarfs Mine is still virtual queue, right? Or no, it's individual lightning lane. Sorry,
yeah.
individual
Yep.
lightning lane. So you have what? Is it just two rides now that are virtual?
Yes, Tron and Guardians.
I don't know if there's a rule of thumb because prior to those two, Rise of the Resistance was virtual queue, and was there one before that?
I don't think so. I think Rise was the very first one.
So we only have three to go off of.
Yeah.
But Guardians has been there a year now, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still virtual queue. So you have to assume at least a year.
So I'm just going to say that the Impossible Burger Slider has a wasabi cream and a spicy Asian slaw with a sesame seed bun. It is so good. Okay, so I'm still stuck. From the fry basket, I do like the yuca fries. Go ahead, Mike. You can talk while I'm looking at my food.
Okay. So Courtney said going in 9 days, any good food places and where can I find pickles because they have the best?
Gary, no, Remy did not have a virtual queue. Not
No. Courtney, I cannot help you with your question about pickles. I'm protesting pickles.
So, Courtney, if you go to Epcot and you go to Food and Wine and you go to the Fry Basket, they have pickle spears there, and mine were really good. They were really good. So, and then go try the pickle shake. It's not going to be as good as the pickle spears, but the pickle spears there were really good. I can't really think of any other pickle area, pickle that you should get.
While I'm not a pickle person, based on what you just said, Courtney, get the pickle shake first and then get the pickle spears.
Yeah, wash it down with that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I've heard great things about the pickle spears.
Yeah, it was so good.
Okay. So, we haven't, have we really talked about restaurants much in all of these books?
Mike likes Tapanito in Epcot. I say you can't go wrong. I really like Space 220 in Epcot. I know it's hard to get into. I always like to suggest the lounge if you're able to, if you don't have a whole family with you and it's maybe just two people. Are we talking quick? We always go through this. Are we talking quick service? Are we talking sit down?
Yeah. You mentioned Tapanito. That's in the Pan Pavilion at Epcot. It's a hibachi style, so the chef's right out in front of you cooking it, and they do the onion volcano and things like that, which are really cool and fun. Thing I love about it, the food is really good, and you get a lot of it, so you're stuffed. But the restaurant is on the second level of the building, and so if you can plan accordingly, have dinner reservations, say around 7:15, somewhere in that neighborhood. You get done with dinner, walk out. There's a nice patio there. You're set up for the nighttime show, right there at Epcot. It's a great experience. Forgiving Epcot forever. Have you ever done the German beer garden?
I have not.
And when I go to Germany, I'm going straight to the caramel shop.
Yeah. So in Germany, non-Food and Wine related, my favorite snack is not in the caramel shop where Mike would be going. I'm going to go past that towards the beer garden, and in the middle there's a very small quick service that has caramel pretzel bread pudding to be exact. And it's warm and it has a wonderful icing, and I turned this one, I don't know if it's this way, Mike, I was like, we all have to try it. You have to try it. You can't leave here without it. And
it was really good. And the cookie in Italy.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Or not Italy, in France.
Yeah. The chocolate chip cookie in the bakery from the France. It's such a good chocolate chip cookie. It is.
Epcot forever. So you're just having a quick snack? Because that's all it would take to eat.
Yeah, you're only going to be eating for 10 minutes.
Let's see here. Justin asked the difference between the lounge at Space 220.
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You got this one.
I was going to say, so if you don't have reservations, if you get reservations on the My Disney Experience app, you're going to get the reservations for a full sit down meal, which is what do they call it, Mike? It's pay one price and you get this meal.
Oh, like the family style?
No, it's not family style, but it is a limited menu that you get the 4 courses and you pay $64.99. Whereas if you go to the bar area, which you can tell them that's where you want to sit. If you are walking up and you don't have a reservation, there is, 10 seats up at the bar, and up at that bar, you can get just a la carte. You do not have to get that entire menu. You do not have to spend $64.99 per person. You can just go there and select a couple things, have some appetizers or have a full meal and, dessert, whatever, couple drinks, and walk away. And that is the same case at California Grill as well. You do not have to get the prefixed menu for that price. You can say, hey, are there spots at the bar? and, head to a bar. We do it at Yak and Yeti too, but Yak and Yeti is not a prefix meal, but it is a very easy place to walk into without a reservation and have the same meal everybody else is, and you didn't stress about the reservation, and you can just hop on in there. So hopefully that explained, but I was just trying to think of all the places we go where, there are great experiences available and you don't really need a reservation.
Yep.
So, but again, you're not going to take 10 of a group of friends of 10 and do this. You know, 1, 2 people, I would say 3. Me, Robbie, and Chris did that. There were 3 of us, and I think like at Space 220, let's just say the restaurant opens at 11 a.m. You can get in the line at 10:30, and go check in and be the first person in the line to be. And so I, didn't mind going to be the one in the line because Robbie wanted to go there, So I was like, I will make sure we get into this restaurant. And I went and waited in the line. Oh, what is the one thing I wish I could bring back to the parks?
Yeah, and Janelle's really good about that. She made sure I got into that caramel shop.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That is true.
Okay, what is the one thing you wish they would bring back to the parks? And Shane, I see here. Yeah, the electric light parade at the Magic Kingdom would be nice. Hey, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, Jessica. Thank you.
Asking that question and asking for one answer is kind of like asking your favorite restaurant or your favorite ride. You could twist it a couple different ways as far as how that fits. Thank you, Jessica. So, gosh, yeah, the nighttime parade is a good one.
I want them to bring Baymax back as a meet and greet.
Yeah, that would be cool. Obviously, Shane, seeing Goofy water ski again would be good.
That would be amazing.
I mean, that would be an experience that most all of you, it wouldn't even be like they brought it back. You never saw it.
Right. He is, Dustin, but he was at Epcot before he went to Disneyland, so.
Had your first PTO meeting, that's nice.
Oh, Jessica. Fun.
That's PTO Pickles Toss Out meeting, right? Is that what that is? Where's your sound effects? Come on.
Oh my goodness. I have it. If I have the sound effects on, then I can't see the chat.
Oh, okay. That's fine then.
Yeah. Here, let's do this one. We'll see. That's magic.
I say, if you don't want to hide the comments, get Tim a drum set for Christmas, and he can be alongside of you, and he can do the ba-dum-dum.
I'll run that by him.
Yeah, I bet he'd love that.
Yeah,
love that. Okay, so
he'll love it as much as he loved the Mickey popcorn bucket. Yeah.
Okay, so back to Tina's question of what one thing you would bring back to the park. So you said Baymax would be your one thing. And I like Shane's about the electric light parade at night. Ooh. Gosh, that's a tough one. I'm thinking about rides that are no longer there. I would love, you can't go wrong if you could get the Great Movie Ride back. I also miss, Jessica, I said that, water skiing Goofy. I also miss the backlot tours that they had at the Hollywood Studios. That was a nice one. Of course.
Osborne Lights.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. There you go. That's it right there. That's the one and only thing. Only one thing to bring back the Osborne family Christmas lights. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Reasonable prices. There you go. I was going to say, and I know a lot of you are huge Happily Ever After fans. I would love it if they would bring back Wishes. Yeah. Loved that show. And here's my feeling. If they can really on the turn of a dime go from Happily Ever After show to the next night doing the Mickey's Very Merry or Not So Scary Halloween fireworks show. They could do a rotation of Happily Ever After, Wishes, and what was the one just before Happily Ever After? What was that called? I forgot what it was called. Do you remember?
Enchantment?
Yes. So you could rotate those three around if you wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. I found more food from Food and Wine that I like.
Yeah.
Going back.
I mean, when you think about it, when Wishes was happening, projections was really not a thing. I mean, they did a little bit, but it wasn't like it is today.
Darren, my D23 announcement that I was excited about is that there was no Zootopia land coming. I was so excited. I was like, again, I'll clap. Yeah.
That was your favorite announcement of all the things they announced?
Yeah. Everything was going to happen. Everything else was going to happen anyways. So, yeah, True.
You're right. But if you took everything that was announced as possibles, I think I would have to say Luminous would be my favorite announcement.
It was going to happen anyways.
That's what I'm saying. If you assume that all these things were possibles. Right. I get what you're saying. Yeah. But that's a great question, though, Tina, as far as what's one thing you would bring back. And I know, gosh, I mean, you could go back to some of the really legacy historical rides at Magic Kingdom, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, for instance, when they had the ski lift ride that went over top of the park, some of those things like that. About time for me to go grab my fuel rod, I think.
Okay. Well, I was going to say we can wrap up, I think.
What are we hoping that they reveal in the D23 Fan Expo in Anaheim? That's a good one.
Yeah.
I would love for them to no longer suggest the possibility of Beyond Big Thunder Mountain and actually share actual details of what they're going to do. Would be great. Hopefully, we get an actual opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Would be nice. Even if it will open in the month of X. Yeah. That would be nice. We talked about this one last week. I think it was last week. I would love, and this won't happen, but I would love for them to announce that they're bringing Radiator Springs to Disney World.
Yeah.
Again, it's not going to happen, but I would love that. I mean, if there's room back behind Rock and Roller Coaster, what a great addition to the Race Academy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, are there any other questions that have to be answered tonight? Throw them down there. But I think if you are not part of our Discord, the link is in my bio, and you can come on over there, and we have a section, a Janelle and Mike section, where you can come and ask us a question. You can message Mike, you can message me, and we will get the questions out there, and we will put them into next Thursday. Usually we are on Thursday nights. Sometimes we have to switch things up and adapt to our schedules. So we did it tonight, not Thursday. I do try to repost these on my YouTube. So I'll work on that tomorrow, getting the rest of them out there. And so if you thought you heard something and you wanted to go back to this, you'll get to watch our lovely faces all over again. So, right?
Yes. What about that?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So Tina, your comment about Powerline for Rock and Roller Coaster, that had been rumored when Rock and Roller Coaster was down for refurbishment. Right. Obviously, it didn't happen. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there. It was all speculated, rumored, commented that Disney had lost the contract with Aerosmith, and that wasn't the case. I think that contract runs, I want to say like another 5 years, actually. It was
Right.
a case that Disney had an out clause in the contract. And I think a lot of people assumed when it was closing for refurbishment that they were going to get out of that contract because of some of the
Whatever had happened then.
whatever happened with Steven Tyler.
Right.
So I obviously they didn't do it, but that was one of the rumored things. Tina was Powerline. It was rumored that they were going to retheme it as a Cars roller coaster, which again with the Race Academy right there would have made a lot of sense.
Right.
My feeling is that as long as they have that contract in place and they've decided to maintain it, unless Steven Tyler or somebody in Aerosmith does something atrocious, I don't think they're going to back out of that at this point.
So, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody who has been liking the live and sending gifts and sharing and all of the things. Thank you so much for all of the engagement as well. We appreciate it. It gives us something to look forward to every week.
Well, I look forward to it. Janelle comes kicking and screaming.
Not true at all.
I'm kidding.
Not true.
I think in your Discord you have the page for suggestions for topics.
Yes.
In your link tree you have a link to the quote form for if you want to look at doing a trip with me. If you go into my profile and TikTok, I have my email address there. You can email me, or the quote form is there as well. I would absolutely love to work with you if you wanted to book something.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you. And yeah, I'll keep everybody updated on Discord for sure. We try, Jessica. We try to bring something every week.
Shane, you're a brave man still dropping the Go Big Red. It's hurtful right now. It's hard to do.
So, Dustin, thank you so much. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to start coughing. Goodbye.
I thought you were going to say you're going to start crying. I'm like, come on.
Oh.
How can I have my trip sponsored and free to me is my topic for next week.
Okay. We will work on it. We're going to work on Chick-fil-A.
We're going to have to find a guest speaker for that one. Well, Jessica, I can save you 35%. You just got to find the other 65. That's a heck of a deal.
Yes.
All right. Janelle, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Go follow Mike. Send a quote form. Do it all, everybody. Thank you. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Yep.
See you later.
All right. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.